What's up, fight fans? You are back on the other side. Today's guest is considered BKFC nobility. He sits at number 2 in the world at bantamweight, and today he sits down with us. So behold, ye peasants, the one and only Royal Ryan Reber. How's it going, man?
Man, it's going, baby. It's going.
Hell yeah! Welcome to the show. I've got to start out at the very beginning because I don't know if you're anything like me. My childhood had a whole lot to do with the grown man that I am today. So I wanted to know what life was like for you growing up.
I mean, it was, it's kind of how my life is. It started chaotic. You know what I mean? I started off in the womb with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and
Oh
then
shit!
they forced me out, and then my mom said I got blessed by the damn Mormons, and then from there we had to, I lived. I'm on a podcast, Poppy. I got my poppy popping it on me in the back, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so and my father they had me young, man, 16 years old, and shit, man, we my dad was in the Air Force, so we lived in the Philippines where
Oh
Mount
wow!
Pinatubo was, so that erupted, caused a typhoon and some other crazy, events. We had to get evacuated from there, and then I was we were in Texas, then we went to Florida here where I'm at now, and then we went back to Connecticut, and I spent most of my time in Connecticut.
Wow, that's quite a
That was
childhood.
yeah, crazy from the get, man.
Who
So I
as
guess
a
I've always been accustomed to chaos.
well, it serves you well these days.
Yeah,
Who were
calculated chaos.
some of your heroes when you were a kid? Who'd you look up to?
Man, I mean, in the earlier days, we had all the action heroes. We had the Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was just kind of making a funny point about my walkout song that I chose for this last fight. It was "Bad to the Bone," and I always
Nice.
said, I was probably like, I don't know, 1993. I was young, man, and I'll never forget. My mom got me the Terminator 2 on VHS, and I always remembered the scene where he walked in the bar and he scouted the place out. And then he lined up that one guy he's talking about, I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. He said, you forgot to say please. Man, and then they just started beating each other up. And then, he beat everybody up. And then that outro scene where he walked out and they started playing that music, I just always had that stuck in my head. And, when it came to Josh, I was like, man, I'm going to terminate him, man. So I'm going to come out to the good old Terminator theme. We had that place going, man. So, obviously growing up on all the action heroes, Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Hmm.
all the favorites, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky. And then, when I hit, I think, 16, I started Shanran Ryu Karate. And I was beating the black belts in, like, my third month there. And I was like, man, these dudes been here for 10 years, man. Like, what is going on here? And then my boy came in and introduced me to The Tao of Jeet Kune Do by Bruce Lee. And,
Hmm.
like, really, that book really changed my life and my mindset about everything, because I already kind of felt like having a certain style was just not the way to go. And yeah, man, I read the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, and like one of the first pages I read, he was like, "Style is not the way to go." I was like, I fucking knew it, man. I was like, this guy's a genius. So I automatically locked in with that. Read all his books, studied all his philosophies, watched all his movies, and I mean, that was me, man. The kicking, the punching, the simplicity. And I feel like that's what kind of made me good at bare knuckle to this day was, he was more of a street fighter than he was, MMA guy, because
Hmm.
obviously MMA was never a thing when he was growing
Right.
up. So, or when, he was around, I should say. So, that was definitely one of my I could say professors, you know what I mean? Somebody that really, taught me a lot, man. The way the intercepting fists, be like water, using no way as a way, having no limitations as
Hmm.
limitations. So I went from my ninth grade year to my senior year being most changed in the yearbook, because I went from running with the gangs and running with the crowd. You know what? Everybody has something to offer. You hang out with
Hmm.
the grungy kids. They smoked good weed. You hung out with the preppy kids. They threw the bomb ass parties. You hung out with the gangsters. They got all the respect. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I had friends everywhere, man. And instead of running with a crew, I ran by myself. I posted up by myself in the hallways and just dapped everybody up. You know what I mean? It was cool with everybody, man. So, that was one of my big influences coming up in the game, was definitely Bruce Lee. Man
Okay.
was fucking generations ahead of his time, and you can still
Hmm.
use knowledge to this day. So
Oh yeah.
definitely one
Okay.
of my guys growing up.
What tell me about the moment you said to yourself, I can be a fighter and I can be successful at it.
Shit, I mean, I won my first big trophy at Mohegan Sun, ironically. So to get to fight there, it kind of all formed together. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I was 16, beat this huge ass dude in point sparring, won a belt, and really ever since there, man, I had a couple of amateur fights, boxing, and I didn't ever really know what route I really wanted to take because I really liked kicking. I just didn't like
Hmm.
getting kicked. Once you
Right.
start getting kicked, the whole game changes, And like I didn't really have a sense of direction, man, and I put it down from like 23 to 27, and then when I got back into the game at 27, I was like, oh, I'm gonna hit the ground running. I'm gonna be so good because I got this experience and I got a different mindset. Man, I went fucking 7-0 with one belt to 0-7. I was fighting all the state champs,
Sure.
bringing people in, and I was losing on points. But the one thing that kept me going was the fact that each one of these guys would come to me after the fight and be like, "Man, you almost knocked me out, or you almost broke my jaw, or you were fucking me up for a minute." And I'm like, "Man, like I gotta stop starting slow." You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I was always been a slow starter. I mean, even in bare knuckle, you guys see me in the beginning kind of slow start. To now, I got to kind of figure it out. And whether it's coming in with head movement or throwing more volume right away, like I'm more of a precise guy instead of a volume guy. But when it hits, you're gonna feel it. You know what I mean? And like I
Hmm.
think in these last couple of fights, especially the title fight up to this fight, you're seeing a different, Ryan Reber, man. And I like what I'm becoming, man. And I'm just becoming more adapted to the game and more
Hmm.
smarter and really understanding it. I mean, I'm 10 fights deep into this, man. So I'm definitely a pioneer of this game, man. And I absolutely love it, man. It's been a hell of a ride.
When did you discover bare knuckle?
Shit, it's a funny story, man. But seeing how we're here, you
Hmm.
know, to be honest, I'm one of Dave Feldman's guys. Like, if it wasn't for Dave and it wasn't for Kevin Smith, like I wouldn't have been doing this, And Kevin Smith came into my gym in Tampa and was like, "Hey, man, we're having a tryout today." I was like, "For what?" He was like, "Bare knuckle." I'm like, "The fuck is that?" I'm like, "I didn't try out for that shit," and I was just boxing at the time, so.
Hmm.
He's like, "Man, just do it. Get your public figure up for some publicity, whatever." I'm like, "All right, man." So there's probably like, I don't know, 20 guys, and Lorenzo Hunt being one of them, and Gene Herrera from the UFC being the other one. Man, we're hitting mitts, doing bag work, doing pad work with the coach. All of a sudden, Dave pulls me to the side and he's like, "What's your why? What's your why?" I'm like, "Bro, you want me to be honest with you? Like, there is no why." I was like, "I don't even know why I'm trying out." I said, "But that guy over there," and I point at Kevin, I was like, "He told me to try out." He's like, "Well, you want to sign? I'll do you." It was like something stupid, like $2,000 a fight for 5 fights or something. I'm like, "Nah, bro, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that." And he's like,
Oh.
he was like kind of mad, man. And I swear Dave always holds this shit over my head to this day, but he still loves me though. But always like, he always gave me shit in the beginning about it, like not taking the deal. But I didn't, like the biggest thing with me, man, is like I'm always true to myself, man, and
Hmm.
that right there, I didn't know nothing about it, so I'm like I told him no, and like there's an interview with all of us doing those tryouts online, and I mean Lorenzo was probably 20 pounds smaller, like
Hmm.
and he's an athlete. You see what he's doing in the game, Gene, of course, fought for the UFC, and he had a pretty good run in this before, he passed away. And, those are the guys I tried out with. And Dave says in the interview in the beginning, he's like, we had a couple of guys we really liked, but they seemed unsure. So we got to roll with these guys, and points out Lorenzo and points out Gene. And I'm sitting there in the back room with my blonde hair all dyed, with my fucking headband on, skinny as fuck, like, damn, should I have just took the contract and then renegotiated? And I didn't know nothing, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
to even do that. So later on that night, we all went out to the club and shit. And I think Anthony Rumble Johnson was out there, and Feldman was out there. And I came up to Anthony and we kind of chopped it up, and he like pulled me in, man, hugged me in the club with us all noisy. And he's like, bro, you should have took that contract, man, and then, you know, reevaluated it down the road. And if it didn't make sense, then didn't do it. And he was kind of putting me on the game. So that was pretty cool. And like, you know, obviously I still didn't take the contract, and I stopped training at Caltas in Tampa and ended up in St. Petersburg at Winky Wright / Keith Thurman's gym. And from there, this other guy that I had mutually knew was a trainer, and he was bringing in more bare knuckle guys. Kevin Smith had his other guys coming to him, and one of the guys coming in was Julian Lane. And, you know, I was watching Julian Lane on Ultimate Fighter on my fucking couch back in, I don't know if it was 2016 and 17 maybe, or season 16 and 17, one of the two. I don't remember the year. But, you know, Julian walks in, and I'm like, let me bang, bro? He's like, let me bang, bro. And, like, immediately we hit it off. You know what I mean? I was like, bro, whatever you're doing and wherever you're going, I'm coming with you. And, like, I just kind of, like, was on his hip the whole fucking time. Like, and he couldn't even get rid of me, man. Like, all right, man. And I told him, I said, bro, you know, Feldman said anytime I want to hit him up, I can fight. And, like, at that time, he was trying to manage fighters. I was like, bro, you know what? I'll be one of your first fighters, manage me, and get me in there. And he did, you know what I mean? And from there, I ran that shit all the way up to 6 wins, man, before I lost. And he managed me for about 3 of them. And we never had a falling out or nothing. He just kind of, like, got busy, man. And I felt kind of bad having him do shit for me when he needed to really be doing shit for himself. So I opted out, you know, went elsewhere. But, you know, obviously stayed in the game, man. And, you know, that was you know, my starting journey into this, man.
Wow. I want to know, take me back to Orlando, BKFC 25, your debut against Micah Mitchell. Walking to the ring, I'm sure you had all kinds of shit going on in your head. What voice was the loudest? What do you remember the most about that walkout?
Fuck, it was so weird, man, because I honestly had a dream the day before that he was so scared in the dream. And I don't know why I remember this dream or having the dream, but I feel like he was so scared he wanted to jump off this cliff. And I'm like, no, bro, don't jump off the cliff. We got to fight tomorrow.
Right.
Like, it was fucking weird. And then, like, coming into the fight, I had no idea, honestly. But, like, I feel like that's when Sean Wheelock really started to like me and Chris Lytle, because Sean Wheelock was like, man, that kid was in the back room talking so much shit. He was going to do this and he was going to do that. And I stopped him within 2 fucking rounds. And I was like, really? I said, really? He was talking like that. He said, yeah, man. And we fucking dismantled him quick. And, you know, it was, and to be honest, like, to answer your question, I don't really remember what was really going through my mind other than the point that I'm not losing. You know what I'm saying? I had too much riding on it. You know, like I said, when I joined Bare Knuckle and I told my parents and then I told my kids, like, I think my daughter's 16 at the time. She was probably like, what, 4 years ago? Yeah. So, like, you know, 12, 13 or something. And she was like, Dad, you weren't even winning. Why are you going to do that? I'm like, yo, I said, listen, kids, when I make my mind up about something, I'm doing it and I'm going all in. You know what I mean? And, like, I made my mind up and I was like, I don't care. Like, this is my last hurrah of, you know, becoming something. And I just universally, I knew I had to do it, man. The energy, everything kept pulling me towards it. So I did it, man. Like I said, I hit the ground running, and, man, I've been in the top 5 pretty much my whole ride.
Yes, sir. All right. You won that fight by TKO. Looking back, was that victory more preparation for the future or validation for what had led you there?
I mean, a little bit of both, man. You know, it was preparation and validation, because I was like, I told y'all I'm back. Like, I was never a loser, man. And, like, I had to go through, like, this fucking 4-year bid of just losing, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not a loser. And I just kept coming and kept showing up. And I had coaches and family and friends and people give up on me. I mean, like, the guys aren't here in the shop right now, but if they were, they'd all laugh. And they had a nickname for me, bro. I was Ofer. And it would be Ofer, whatever fucking it was. And I'd have to eat that shit. And I would come in with my tail tucked in between my legs and, yeah. Ha, 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 ha. ha ha ha. Like, now who's got the last fucking laugh? You know what I mean? And, you know, they'll be the first ones to buy front row tickets to BKFC. And, you know, that's how I'm able to sell a, you know, sell a stadium out. I mean, people see what I do out in OCC, and now the bosses know what I'm about in OCC. I had like $32,000 in ticket sales, and half of the stadium left after I fought. You know what I mean? They were like, "What? Where the fuck everybody go?" You know what I mean? Like they wanted to come see me, and even the people who didn't come to see me knew who I was and were there for me anyway. So I had that place chanting my name, going absolutely crazy, man. And it's like, it don't get no better than that, man. I mean, it's a high you can't replicate. You know what I mean? It's real.
Oh yeah. Okay. This next question, before we get into the rest of your career, I think now is the perfect time for this. I think you know the reason I do these interviews is to hopefully inspire people who are struggling. I would like to ask you, has there ever been a moment in your life where you felt like giving up, or maybe I'm broken? What was that situation, and how did you come out on the other side?
I mean, just recently with the title fight, you know, like he hit me in a spot that is like considered in this sport the bullseye of fighting. Like, and he didn't mean to hit me in that spot. He didn't aim to hit me in that spot. He threw in a hit all by itself, like I said with Bruce Lee. And I don't believe in luck. I believe in calculated energy, and his energy was more calculated than mine was that night. And that's where the luck comes in. You know what I mean? And after he hit me with that shot, as soon as I took the knee, he didn't knock me down. I took the knee, and I went to open my eye, and it fluttered and kept going in and out. And I knew from the way it felt, it was instantly broke. And I was like, so mad, man. I was so fucking mad I let that shit happen. And I was like, no. And I couldn't even, like, pretend like it wasn't what it was when I should have got up and acted like I could fight at least. You know what I mean? Because that's what the boss is like, too. But I'm just such an emotional person as it is. Like, I couldn't let that, like, it was cooked. And I'm thinking in my mind after that fight, like, that's it for me, man. Like, I don't know what the extent of this injury was. And then when I got it looked at finally, like, I wasn't even going to go to the hospital. I didn't even care. I was just so, like, beat up about it that I didn't even care, man. And, like, I think there was like 4 weeks that went by. 3 of them I wasn't even on social media. I said what I had to fucking say on a Facebook Live, and then that was it, man. I was so mad and disappointed. Like, I knew I lost stock in the company a little bit. I thought it was over, man. I didn't think I was going to come back. And then even worse, like, I still to this day get like this slow drip in my eye. Like, I can see it. It's weird. It's like a metallic, like, looks like a teardrop, but in my eyeball. So I was like, I didn't even want to go get it looked at because I was like, fuck, man, and maybe it's a retinal tear, maybe it's this, and I just kind of wanted to ignore it. And I stayed, you know, taking care of myself, being healthy, and was just praying for a full recovery. And then, you know, like I said, my pupil to this day is still more dilated in that eye than this one. I mean, this is permanent damage to your fucking body. And I got scars and shit. I ain't worried about the scars, but the eye, you know what I mean? Like, plus it was my only fucking good eye. This eye sucks. And this eye was like my 20/20 good eye, man. And like, you know, I got LASIK surgery too. So I was like, I don't know if that fucked something up. Like, I didn't know. And, you know, 2 weeks before my last fight is when I finally got it dilated and looked at. Everything was perfect. I was like, thank you.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. You know what I mean? But, you know, before leading into that, I didn't even want to come to the shows. I didn't want to be around nobody. I didn't want to come to the shows. I just was like, I'm done, man. And then I went to the Connecticut show. And that show really, like, completely changed everything, man, because of the people that were there. And plus, it's my real home city. And as soon as I pulled up, and I seen Brian Sosha. And he pulled me to the side. We seen each other outside the event. Before the event, it was like the day before, I think, or 2 days before. And he was like, you know, I kind of told him about it and how I felt. And he was like, bro, don't forget who you are, man. You're fucking Royal Ryan Reber. I'm like, yeah, man, you're right, man. And I've done a lot for the company, and I've done a lot in the company. And you know what I mean? I'm like, you're right, bro. You're fucking right, man. And, you know, from that moment on, it really locked in with me. And it really, like, I was like, you know what, bro? Yes. And then I, got back on the grind, got back in the gym, and then just continued to hit it hard, man. And then look, you see the outcome. You know what I mean? One of my best performances to date with one of my best opponents to date. I mean, Josh was no pushover, man. He fought for a world title. He had 9 bare knuckle fights, and he had 17 pro MMA without a backwards career in that. You know what I mean? So, like, he was a very good opponent, and I feel like that fight put me in a very good situation once again. But it also showed, and just like you said, to the viewers, to the people, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on your fucking dreams, because, bro, I'm 38 years old, and I don't have a whole ton of, like, hard sparring miles on me and hard boxing miles on me. So I'm out here, with the technology and the if you choose the right foods to put in your mouth and the right supplements, you could go on. I mean, look at Yoel Romero, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to
Andre
get
Arlovsky
into my fucking mid-40s, I can, and obtain a belt and keep a belt and whatever it is I want to do. Or shit, you want to call me the gatekeeper and think you're going to get by me? You're going to have a hell of a time. Because like I said, I'm only getting better before I really start to decline, man. So, I mean, that's one of the biggest things, man. Because even when Blas did it, I didn't break my orbital. You know what I mean? Like, he cut me really bad. I was, like, down and out. I wasn't mentally ready. I wasn't even – I mean, I could say I was physically ready. But, I mean, even the weight difference the next day, like, I wasn't regaining and rehydrating 15 pounds like all these guys are.
Right.
Now I am. Now I learned how to cut the weight. Now I learned how to put it back on. So you want to play the fucking weight bully game? Let's play the weight bully game. I came into this fight at my biggest. They reweighed me. I was 152. You know what I mean? And I ain't never been that big. And I know Josh was every big of that, if not more. I asked Guyman what he came back in at our fight. He was like 160. I was like, fuck, bro. Like, we were 136 yesterday. You know what I mean? And I mean, Dave always would give me shit about it. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. Well, I mean, I think Dave found out with Lorenzo, it fucking matters, bro. You know what I'm saying? It kind of does. You're used to being the big guy, Dave, and now you weren't the big guy. And look at the outcome. Like, that shit makes a difference. You know what I mean? With the way you can manhandle somebody, with the way you can absorb punches, with the way you can, it may slow you down, or if you put too much on, it can make you sluggish and slow. But if you do it right, like, it's super beneficial, man. It's like, I think one of the only guys to ever do that shit was like Mayweather, to be able to fight at his actual weight. But we're talking about fucking Mayweather, though, too. And, he wasn't a real, towards the end of it, in the middle and the end of his career, he was a defensive fighter. You know what I mean? Would know how to boom, boom, instead of, just a forward, knocking you out type guy. So, it definitely plays a role.
Okay. BKFC 32, what's it like fighting Jack Shady Grady?
People don't understand, like, the immense, I'm not going to say pressure, but, like, how you got to deal with a fucking crackhead like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I told his ass, like, I could see right through his antics, and I told him, I said, bro, don't get in my face and fucking spit. I don't want your spit flying off at me. And he got right in my face and started, blah, 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 blah. And, like, bro, it didn't scare me. Like, he didn't scare me. And, like, he was a big 135er, too, and he went in there and, of course, just wanted to wrestle me and push me against the ropes and growl and, digging in with his head. But, like, once he realized he couldn't do shit, it was over for him. And that's why the antics went in, And Julian told him, too, before the fight, he was like, don't be fucking with my boy. And, of course, Julian's in the crowd. He's flip him off after, and comes in and he attacks me. And that shit went super viral, man. It was a crazy moment for me, for G, for a lot of people that were there, because G's holding me back. I'm like, that's right, motherfucker. That's why I brought gang with me. And he's like, he's getting choked out. Feldman's choking him out. Like, this shit went crazy. And, I still, he's still such a little fucking shitbag talking shit to me. But at the end of the day, like, you're welcome, Shady. I put you on the map. Without that, you would be nobody, bro. You're not even fucking winning. I don't want to hear you almost beat Cito. Like, almost don't come, bro. And I told him, I was like, yo, if you beat Cito, I'll rematch you. I told him that night. And he didn't get the job done. Like, bro, what the fuck? I'm 10 fights deep into this. I should be ranked number 1 in my opinion, but whatever. you're not getting a fucking rematch right now. I don't, unless they're gonna pay me a shitload of money to fight you because it's entertaining. I guess I will, but I'm not doing it, bro. Like a lot of these guys, like fucking Chris Garcia, calling me out. Like he's a little more worthier of an opponent because he's got a nice little name and whatever. I'll fucking go down to Miami and butcher his ass. You know what I'm saying? That fucking little midget is not getting past my jab. He's not getting past my straight. So keep winning, Chris. I'll see you down the fucking road. Same thing with Larimore. Like Larimore, you know, we're good friends on the outside, you know, and he's calling me out too. It's like, bro, y'all fucking pump your brakes and do something first. You lost to fucking Keith in horrible fashion, and you beat fucking my boy Ace, which was, you know, a good win. But I don't know where Ace's head is always in all this shit. And he knows that, bro. He's not always all in, you know. So it's like, I'd like to see these guys remotely do what I did because to not only stay undefeated in bare knuckle, but to have a pretty good fucking record in bare knuckle is a very hard thing to do with the cuts, with the eye fucking situations, with broken bones, with, you know what I mean? There's other playing factors that can end a fight. Like my boy Howard Davis, for example, you know, getting cut in his eyelid. Like that's just shit that's out of your control. Like, could he have kept fighting? Yeah. Did he want to continue? Yeah. But the doctor said no, man. And I mean, that fucking, you know, it fucks stock up, it fucks people up. It sucks, man. And those are the things you got to watch out in this shit because it ain't boxing, bro. It's way more hybrid, you know. And I just, like I said, from growing up on Bruce Lee and doing karate and doing MMA and doing Hung Gar Kung Fu, I trained in Connecticut with a guy that brought that shit back from Shaolin and fought in UFC 7 as an alternate that went to high school with my dad. And they didn't have weight classes or fucking gloves back then. So he showed me some real fucking cool shit that I use to this day, whether it's trapping hands, whether it's just flowing with it. That's why when I'm in the inside with a lot of these guys, I may not have a real good clench game, but I can maneuver and understand it, you know, more to be able to get out of shit and to get my distance back or to just tie you up. And like, nobody will ever beat me with a fucking rabbit punch. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, Josh, you looked great on the scoreboard because you're like, and they're dialing it up. Like, bro, sit the fuck down. Like, we're not even going to talk like it was even close because you landed more. Like, fucking stop, bro. Like, I'm not trying to hear that shit. Like, you went out there and I fucking embarrassed you after running your mouth to me, to my kids. I mean, he looked over at my daughter that was at the weigh-in and was like, I'm going to beat your daddy up tomorrow. I said, oh, you are, bro? And you know, I learned my lesson with doing like predictions. I really shot myself in the foot with Justin. I got into his head and I was like, I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna knock him out in the third round. And bro, to be honest with you, I didn't even really mean it. You know what I'm saying? I just said that shit. And then look at my outcome. I got knocked out, not knocked out, but I got fucking stopped in the third round. I'm like, that hurt too. I was like, fuck, man, like, damn, bro, like, I should have never have talked like that. Just, it's better to not tell people what you're gonna do to them because they're gonna look out for it. So, like, there would be times where I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna be a little more aggressive in this one, or I'm gonna do this. Motherfucker, I want you to think I'm gonna back up and go right to the ropes, like everybody thinks I'm gonna do. And then when I get out there and I do something different, it surprises them. And like, even with Josh, like, we worked on a straight to the body left hook. And when I got to the fight, I did so much film study on him that I already knew what he was going to do subconsciously. And my body just did what it did automatically. And like, to be honest, that hook to the body overhand that's like my devastator in the gym. Like, that's how, if I want to fuck you up, I'm going to hit you with that shot. And I always land it. And with Josh, it ended up being the perfect shot for him because he liked to scoot out. So I knew with his ass, I get in enough and I set one up, I can, and I got a bigger reach to him. So I caught him right at the end of that bitch. Just, it couldn't even have been more perfect. And then I did it again. And then I almost did it again. I'm like, bro, I'm just going to eat. Like, if it works, why am I going to stop doing it? And you know, I give my coach Monette a lot of credit to that because he's the one that broke that down and told me about it. He's the one that was like, body head, be more aggressive, body head. Now, I didn't utilize it exactly like we worked on, but I utilized it. I flipped it, you know, and sometimes that's just my brain sometimes, man. No, bro, I told you to do it like this. Well, how about watch this? Bam, and then that will work. I was like, hey, fuck it, that worked, bro. Let's run that. So, shout out to the guys in my gym who believe in me. I got Bo Hill, Monye Flowers. He only really deals with undefeated winners, man. So to have our first fight together and for me to lose, at least it was a title fight, shit. But man, like, people don't like losing, man. And then I got my strength and conditioning coach, Nick Ruiz, and he's worked with Dave, he worked with Julian, he works with Jessica Borgia. He works with all these pro high elite athletes. And I was supposed to be the next champ, man. And like I tell people, I'm like, it just wasn't my time. If it's not, and that's what people got to understand about this shit. I don't care how much you train, how much you want it, how much you do behind closed doors. Your gratitude and integrity needs to be on key first and foremost, because then your energy won't. But doing all those things still doesn't secure a win. There's other avenues that have to be looked at too, like who are you hanging around with, who's in your life, what shit like that plays a vital role. I was in a really tough relationship coming into that title fight, and it happened to be her birthday on the day of Justin's title fight. So I knew, fuck, man, this is gonna go one of two ways, either really good or really tragic. And you've seen the outcome, you know what I mean? And I kind of already felt like that going into it, like, man, this is not the day that I want to be doing this. Is on her birthday, and we ended up splitting up after 16 years. And it's like, I had to deal with that pressure coming into this fight because I left because I was sick of my peace getting disrupted, my training, why I was doing this, the support level I wasn't getting behind it. And then I had to make that decision. So I knew if I would have lost this fight, the fingers would have been pointed back at me like, see, I told you I wasn't the problem, or you made a critical mistake, you still lost, and blah, blah, like, so that was more pressure than fighting for any of these belts. Like, people don't understand the immense pressure that I was behind. Like, as I was going to make that walkout for the first time in 10 fights, well, probably the second time in 10 fights, or maybe the third. There was 3 notable ones that I could think that I was really like, I don't want to fucking be here. I don't want to fucking be here. And I didn't think, like, I didn't want to be there, but, bro, I was so fucking nervous, I couldn't even bounce. I was like, damn, man, like, come on, man. And I do a lot of mental work. So, like, I'm hearing my song come on, and then I'm locking in more, and then I'm locking in more. And then just like Mike Tyson says, you make that walk, then you get to that ring, and then I start feeling confident, and then I get in that ring, and I start staring them down, and then I feel invincible. I feel like I can't be fucking stopped, and I won't be stopped. And I wasn't going to be stopped that night, or I wasn't going to be fucking denied. And like I said, that fight could have been better. Me and my coach are always like, it could have been better, you know what I'm saying? But we handled business, man.
Oh, yeah. You just fought, what was it, 2 weeks ago against Oxendine?
Yeah, like 2.5 weeks ago, yeah.
Okay. Were you surprised at all with that matchup, considering he had only had one fight in the BKFC before that?
Well, no, because like I said, he fought for a world title in BKB or BYB or whatever the fuck they're called, and he, like I said, he had 9 bare knuckle fights. So it's not like, it'd be one thing if he only had the pro MMA fights, which he was 10-7 in pro MMA. It could have been different. But I mean, like, some people looking at it were like, oh, he's only 1-0. I said, no. He's well seasoned. Like, this is perfect for me. And I even had the owner hitting me up a couple days before, like, hey, man, you do your thing in this fight. It's going to put you in a good situation. And that's more pressure. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck, man. Like, why would I see that? And then I got my dumbass friends like, bro, I just put 500 on you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do your thing out there. You're like, yeah, motherfucker. Like,
I'll
don't
try.
be yelling at me if it doesn't go my way for some fucking reason. You know what I mean? And then, like, to be honest, it doesn't even matter about none of that shit because my mental game and my mental work is so strong that when I start even thinking of anything that doesn't have to do with me in the fight, I just cut it off, man. I'm like, no, we're not thinking about that. We're not doing that. No, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even thinking about those things. I'm thinking about not what's next, not what's before, what happened before. I mean, because a lot of people are like, what about the pressure of your orbital getting broke? Did you worry? Not even a fucking lick, bro. I didn't even give a shit about that because once you start putting those things in your mind, it's just another fucking mental hurdle and obstacle that you have to fucking overcome in there. And then I'm worried about my eye the whole fucking time. That I'm not worried about throwing, or I'm not worried about countering. I'm not worried about my offense or defense or none of it. You're worried about getting hurt. If you're worried about getting hurt, this ain't the place for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
for sure.
99% of the time, you are going to get hurt. It just depends on how hurt you're going to get. I've had plenty of stitches, plenty of heinous stitches. Like, Justin fucking gashed the shit out of me. I'm in the back getting pumped up, and they're like, "Ooh, this is really deep." I'm like, "Shut up." Fuck, man. And then Justin comes in the back room, and he looks at me, and he's like, "Bro, I didn't even want to fight you." I'm like, "Bro, shut up." Like, good fight, man. Good fight, bro. Like, because I knew he was going to quit whether he won or he didn't win. You know, it was his time to take a break. And look, hats off to him for accomplishing what he did, you know, but I don't see him coming back anytime soon. I really don't. And that's why I say I'm really the number one guy, because why would you give your belt up and then come back just to take a fight? Like, he's almost lost to Armis. He almost lost to Quentin Foy. He almost lost to Justin Streets. Like, those were fucking could have went either way fights. You know what I'm saying? So when you're fucking squeaking by in these fights and you happen to win a world title, motherfucker, you better just, okay, I'm going to pump the brakes for a little while. I'm going to ride out with my glory, and I'm going to get into fucking Misfits boxing. Do your thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, if we could rematch, the rematch definitely doesn't even, it's not even appealing because there's no belt involved. So it's like, I don't even care about that fight. You know what I mean? And look, Justin's a standout guy. He's a hell of an athlete. He did his thing. Little fucker does hit pretty hard. You know what I mean? Like, he, you know, hats off to him. Nothing but love and respect for the kid at the end of the day. But, you know, like I say, man, like, I just don't see him coming back. And I'm in such a crazy position, man, because it's like I got all these fucking bottom dwellers calling me out. You know what I mean? The guys with 1-1 or, you know, only a couple fights in the division. So it's, you know, and some of them are dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, when you can throw hands, it's not going to, I'm not going to say it's 50-50 depending on how you do the fight, but like, this is a sport where anything can happen. So I'm at a point in my career right now where I'm like, I just want to continue to do things the right way. I want to fight for this belt at least one more fucking time. And like I told Dave Feldman on a phone call, I said, look, and after that, I'll fight whenever you guys call me, whoever you guys want me to fight. It doesn't have to make sense. I don't even care at that point in time. I'm just right there once again for a title fight. And I said this on another podcast I did. I said, what better way to win that belt than to win it against somebody of the stature of Herring or Mans? You know what I'm saying? That one of those two guys, to beat a guy that not only that caliber but of that name, that would solidify me. It wouldn't even be wasn't even gonna be shit to win it off of Justin like that, because me and Justin were cut from the same cloth. You know what I mean? We both had no fucking pro background before this. We ran that shit all the way to the top. We both were superstars in our city. And you know what I mean? Like, it made a good fight on paper, looking at, you know, me that only had one loss, him that was undefeated. We both had like equal number of fights in the division. So it was the only fight that made sense, and I kept pushing. And then he finally kind of said, fuck it, let's run it. You know what I mean? And then we agreed to do it. We did it. And, you know, unfortunately it didn't go my way, but you know, and that's not to take, it was almost kind of how Justin was saying about me, like, who am I? Yeah, like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, we're just legends in the bare knuckle game, and that's cool. But I don't have a record like, you know, Jamel does. I didn't have a come up like Mans did in the UFC. Those are pretty big names. Those are the guys I want, because there ain't no pressure on my behalf. If I lose, okay, he had a bunch more experience than me. But if I win, them guys look bad. You know what I'm saying? They don't look great either way, in my opinion, like, as far as, you know, beating, you know, then again, not take that back, because I do got a lot of bare knuckle experience. So, you know what I mean? Like, but those are honestly, that's right now in my career, that's the only thing I really care about, what I want. And then I'm in another fucked up position because they want me back at the OCC in October, and I want to be back there, and I definitely will have a main event spot, and I'm definitely going to sell more tickets than I sold this time and bring a bigger showing out there. But the problem is, that ring's small, and it won't be for a title. So unless they work something out, I don't know if we can get to the fighter to agree, like, hey, let's run it in that ring, you know. But
That'd be
I
nice.
don't know. I don't know, because I'm definitely gonna fight there, you know. So I gotta, you know, I don't know. I don't know. You know, maybe hopefully this fight, you know, with them, they don't get too messed up in it. The hands aren't too bad, or nothing gets broken, and they can jump back in there too. And maybe we get on that July card. That would be dope. You know what I'm saying? In Philly, and then I get after. But then once again, I win the belt. I can't fight for the belt in Clearwater. I feel like so. I don't know, man. I got to talk to the bosses and see what's up. But you know, at the end of the day, the future's bright, man. And
I hope Feldman gives you the title shot next and not the just one more treatment.
yeah, well, because like I said, this is the dangerous game to just keep clicking along, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean. I don't want to be
Yeah.
in a super position where I'm pretty much next in line once again for the title shot, and then fuck it up by letting a 1-1 guy, or you know,
Yeah.
a 3-1 guy, or whatever their records are. You know what I mean? Derail me because of a cut, or you're not knocking me out. You're not fucking. The only way you're gonna beat me is if you fucking break my damn orbital again, or you know, you cut me so bad I can't continue. And
Right.
like I said, I'm not worried about none of that shit, man.
Okay. When your career's all said and done and there's no more fighting, what do you want people to remember most about the fighter you were and the man you were?
Man, just that I always kept pushing. Gratitude and integrity is everything. You are who you are behind closed doors, in front of these lights, and you will always get exposed. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to the game, and don't never give up, man. You know what I mean? Most fucking importantly, it doesn't matter who you are, what you want to do. Don't give up, man. And I'm a perfect example of it. I came from absolutely fucking nothing. No pro background, no rich family, no handouts, none of that shit. To stay locked in, and I'm already like, bro, when we're on EA Sports and the bare knuckle game comes out, and I'm gonna be in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've already cemented my legacy in this. I could quit tomorrow and still be remembered. But the beautiful thing is I still got miles and life on me, and I'm not done yet. You know, and I mean, look at the stories from fighting for the title 2 times, breaking his orbital, and possibly never coming back, to being the first bantamweight fighter to ever fight professionally in his home city of Connecticut. You know, to having a moment of friggin' almost all the BKFC with Shady Grady, to having multiple performances, fight of the nights. Like I said, I've already cemented myself in this shit, man. Now it's like, now I just feel like after the title fights and after, you know, what I just went through, especially to get through this fight, the pressure's gone, man. Like, now I can just kind of sit comfortably and just whatever flows is what flows, man. And I'm here for the flow. So.
Hell yeah. All right. I'm done with the fight questions. We're to the final segment of the show, and it's presented by HKA USA, the crowned royalty in custom combat sports gear. These are kind of pick one or the other style questions designed to make the professional face smasher you more relatable to the grocery store employee, the kitchen guy, the UPS driver. Because we all, I'm sure you've heard this before, regular people don't view fighters as the same as us. You have something braver, tougher, maybe crazier than us. So when you talk, we listen. My first question is ribs or brisket?
Brisket.
There we go. All right. What's the best Rocky movie?
Shit, man, that's a tough one. I think my favorite one in is the one where he fights Antonio Tarver, just because I knew his son personally and I knew him personally, so I thought that was pretty cool, man.
Okay.
Like, I had a really good relationship with Junior.
That's awesome. All right. Both in their prime, who wins, Ali or Tyson?
Shit. I mean, honestly, I think Tyson, just because I think he would have knocked us. Like, Ali was too crazy with the rope-a-dope shit, man. And Mike Tyson hit your ass. But then again, his downfall was longer range fighters. So I don't know, man. Like, I would think Tyson, but.
Okay. All right. Am I more likely to see you drinking a cup of coffee or an energy drink? There we go. What are you drinking?
A damn Melania cotton candy one.
Oh, okay. I figured it was going to be a bucked up for sure.
Man, you know, if Bucked Up would like to treat me a little bit better, I'd have no problem pushing your shit. Man, I had a viral moment where I sprayed that shit all over the ring. They didn't even want to look my way. They didn't even use it in the promotional videos. Like, man, like, if you want the fighters to rep your shit and do it, don't just support just the bare knuckle. Support the fighters. Give me some free gear. Let me push it for you. And I wouldn't have a problem drinking that shit all the time. I don't not like it, but I also like those just because it's less than a big ass can of it. You know what I mean? So you got 200 milligrams of caffeine in this fat ass can, and you got 200 milligrams in a small can. You kind of get it done quicker. But like I said, Bucked Up, you wanna help your boy out. Let's work.
I'll give Ryan a call and see what we can get done.
Let's do it, baby.
I think you're old enough. I've asked this question before, and some people have said, yeah, that was before my time. But I think it'll work with you. Who's the GOAT, Biggie or Tupac?
Ah, shit. I mean, I always liked Tupac growing up a little bit more. You know, Biggie had some weird ass lyrics and shit, and he hung out with P. Diddy, so, you know, it's all we need to know. You know what I mean? Tupac was a little more harder, realistic. But at the end of the day, bro, who's to say that these dudes weren't just totally full-on fucking actors to support the gangbang agenda? I don't know, bro. Don't go down the rabbit hole, kids, because it's a place where you will get lost and confused very fucking quick.
Yeah. So. Okay. In your bathroom at home, does the toilet paper feed over or under the roll?
Shit, I don't even think I have it on there right now.
As long as it's within reach, that's all that matters.
Yep.
Sitting on the sink. On the floor. All right. What is your favorite animal at the zoo?
Shit. Depends on what zoo I'm at, I guess.
Okay.
Down here at Larry Park Zoo, they got some cool shit like cheetahs. I'm pretty sure they got lions. I don't know. It's always crazy to see a lion, man, because it's just so big and majestic.
Yeah. Okay.
He's the king of the jungle.
Better movie, Kickboxer or Bloodsport?
It's like, ain't that the same movie?
Kind of, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, of course, Bloodsport.
Yep. Okay. What is more important, hard work or natural talent?
Oh, definitely hard work. Hard work
yes, sir.
Natural talent all the time. We see it all the time.
All right. Would you rather step on a Lego barefoot in the dark in the middle of the night or get punched in the face?
Where in the face?
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. All right. You're going to go commit a bank robbery, and you need to take two people with you, a getaway driver and a gunman. Who are you taking?
Definitely taking Let Me Bang Lane. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Who's driving? We'll figure that out when we get there. And the driver... Shit. I don't even know. We're gonna have to do some soul searching.
Okay. All right.
Julian, though, for sure. I think I just sent him a meme like that the other day. It was with the Batman movie with Joker. He said when it comes down to this, send this to your bro, and it shows him waiting on the corner with that fucking Joker mask, and then he throws it on like a fucking. It's about that time, my brother.
All right. You have to. Let me preface this next question. This can't be a nursery rhyme. No happy birthday. No Star Spangled Banner. Real songs. You have to sing one song, start to finish, no mistakes, for $1 million. What are you singing?
Golly, it's sad because I can only remember that. I mean, there would be some rock playing from whether it's. I mean, nobody can ever really recite Nirvana, but to be honest with you, bro, I really don't know.
Okay.
That's too tough a question because I really don't know a song like that I could really sing all the way through and not fuck a lyric up. You know what I mean? Unless it was like, I don't even know, man. I couldn't even think about that question right now.
Okay. All righty. During the process of writing this interview, I reached out to some people around you. to get a little bit better idea about your personality, what kind of guy you are. And I asked for some one-word answers to describe you. And a couple of the ones I got were magnetic and a social butterfly. Where does that energy come from?
Shit, probably my damn mother. And you know, I've been like that ever since I was a kid. I was the class clown. I never shut up. You know, and I like just genuine, real love, and I love to give it back. I don't even care if we got beef. I'm cool with all the fighters until you piss me off, and then I have to tell you fuck you and then beat you up. And you know, it's gonna happen to a few of them.
Okay. One last time for anybody out there that's going through hard times or struggling, what message do you have for them?
Man, you know, just don't give up, man. Keep pushing through it because there is sunshiny days after the rainstorms, man, no matter what, you know what I mean? And remember, life can always be worse than what it is, you know what I mean? And like,
yes, sir.
I go through some shit right now, but it don't matter. I'm still gonna get on this podcast. I'm still gonna smile, and I'm still gonna push through with great energy, you know. So
that's it, man.
Don't give up. I'm a perfect example of it.
That's awesome. What's the best way for fans and friends to follow your career and watch your next fight?
Man, Royal Reber on all platforms, baby. You could Google me, you're going to see me. On Facebook, you're going to see me. On Instagram, you're going to see me, man. So, you know, give your boy a follow, check me out, and you will be entertained.
Definitely. What I don't have any more questions written down. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss, or maybe some people you'd like to shout out before we get off here?
Man, well, since I never do it, first and foremost, Nick, man, we appreciate you over there at HKA, brother. You know, everything you do for us as a fighters, man, you really stick your neck out there for us. Got some great gear. Man, shout out to them. Of course, I got to shout out my coach, Munyet Flowers, over there at the Flowers Lab in Newport Richey, Florida. If you ever want to get your ass kicked, pull up. You know, I got my strength and conditioning coach, Nick Ruiz, man. He getting your boy nice and strong. I got to shout out Bo Hill. He's been with me since I was 18. You know, I got my sponsors, Full Blast. I got my other big sponsor, Jeff Meeks, motivational guy, you know what I mean? Always there for me, man. And, you know, basically everybody who loves, supports me, watches my shit, shares my shit, likes it. I mean, even if you want to click on it just because you're curious, love you too. All right, man. And a shout out to all my haters, man. Because without you guys, you ain't going to be sparking this fire up underneath my ass to whoop your ass in the future. So, you know, just keep it coming, man.
Hell yeah, Ryan. Man, that's it. Thank you so much for your time. I know it took us a little while to get this interview together, but I genuinely appreciate your time. I'll get this uploaded to you. No problem. I'll get this uploaded to YouTube probably Sunday. My analytics say that's the best time for views. I'll send you the first copy. If for any reason you don't like it, let me know and I'll take it down.
My man, I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Take care and have a great rest of your night, sir.
Thank you, bro.
Bye-bye. That was a very enjoyable interview, everyone. Follow Ryan. He's an awesome guy. He's an incredible fighter. I have a feeling his next fight is going to be for the belt. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. You'll catch all upcoming interviews. Next week, we're going to have Chachi Versace from the BKFC back on the show to discuss his most recent fight and some of the work he's had done to his face. I appreciate all you guys. Take care and see you next time.